been about 2 years now since we crash landed in Japan. Ash Miley and I we made it out all right, and the inhabitants are kind enough. We've grown to like our time here, and day after day we're growing closer with these humans, which is fine and all. But they started telling us stories that are chilling us to the bone, really odd ones. And I mean, repairs, they've taken a lot longer than anticipated. And after hearing the rumors about this place, Nihon, well, our ship can't be fixed soon enough. We hope to warn you of these haunts, but once our ship is fully operational, Crop Circles, we're gonna abduct urban legends of Japan.
What's up, guys? My name is Jake. No, it's not.
The dog?
No.
I'm Finn the human, and you're listening to Adventure
Time. But my name is Ash, and
I'm Cory.
That's Cory.
Yup, I'm Cory, not Jake or Finn.
Just Cory.
Just Cory. Yeah.
First name Cory, last name Ander.
No!
Coriander.
I don't even like cilantro! Why is that a thing?
I sometimes will call him Coriander just because it's ironic, and I feel like it's just the full version of your name. Like, Cory is short for Coriander.
I like the sound of it, but it represents something that tastes like soap.
He has the soap gene, unfortunately.
It's the worst.
A moment of silence.
I can't enjoy tacos the same as everyone else. Mexican food is ruined.
Anyways, where did this go? This is Crop Circles, the podcast where we talk about myths, mysteries, and the paranormal, and apparently literally everything else.
Yes.
Literally. And you know what? This week, if you weren't able to get it from our intro, we are deep diving into Japanese urban legends. Can I get an air horn noise? Thank you.
Got it.
We don't have the budget for a soundboard yet, so we're just going to have to deal with Cory making the sounds with his mouth.
Blowing air out my mouth, because if it comes out of any other hole, we're in danger.
Oh, no. And I would know firsthand. Ka-chow. Anyways. Oh, God. We're in for it today. We were like, we're going to have to move quickly. We got a lot of information to get through, and here we are talking about farts and avocados. Anyways.
They go hand in hand. What do you identify as today, Ash?
Well, my identification today is probably the feeling that you get when you roll your ankle just walking out of the bathroom on accident, because that's kind of what happened to me, but you know.
Like solely just out of the bathroom, or just when you roll your ankle in general?
No, just out of the bathroom, because you know it's something stupid that could have been avoided, and it's just like the universe cursing you. I feel like when you roll your ankle doing something cool, like sports or something, it's like, oh, wow, you're just so into it, and I'm over here just like fucking getting hurt out of nowhere.
You mean like these bathrooms specifically?
Yeah.
The ones here at E-Village, there's like a lip, maybe a 2-inch lip up before you step out, and then like a foot drop to like the normal
there's like
floor.
A stair.
So it's real weird, not constructed well at all. So like I understand, like I've stubbed my toe one too many times going in and out.
Yeah,
more dangerous going in because the toilet's there and you just face plant.
Yeah. No, so I had already like injured myself a little bit, like twisted my ankle, and then I walked into the bathroom I think the day after, and I just like my ankle folded like a party chair, and I just
Deal.
So now I'm wearing this sick brace, so you know that's
cute.
Cool. What are you identifying as today?
I think now that you mentioned it, like I'm somewhere in between seasoned and unseasoned.
Seasoned and
not seasoned enough.
Not seasoned enough. You're feeling like a medium seasoned taco where like you wish you had salt. Or like something, but it's just not there. But it's okay.
Salt. It's just salt.
No.
But someone's like, "That's white," and they're like, "No, there's salt in there." They're like, "Okay, that'll make it brown."
Yeah.
That's me.
You're beige. You're feeling beige.
It's the representation of my Puerto Rican, I think.
Puerto Rican, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not easy feeling beige.
I'm literally the peach crayon.
Oh my God, yeah, that's true.
Just not the white one.
Yeah, not the white one. That one's like super useless.
It never shows up on the...
Miley's just said that she was the white crayon. I am so sorry. I mean, at least you like got used, because growing up I was like peach or like the straight up brown one, and I was like,
both together. Why not both?
Yeah.
It's like the taco shell.
¿Por qué no los dos? No, it was. Yeah,
but
so
like,
you know that's
wait,
good.
who used the white crayon though? We were always drawn on white
black
paper.
paper.
Who
Who has black paper?
Sometimes when you came up, you came up.
Sometimes.
When you had like the pack of like construction paper, when you had like all of them and you found the one black piece of paper and you were like
now I can use my white crayon. Wow.
wait, actually I have a story. I know that we have a lot to get to, but wait, one time I remember this vividly only because I found the paper later, like in life, but I one time was trying to draw like a field of snow as a kid. And I drew what I thought was great because I could feel like the wax on the paper. And I was like, okay, like I'm drawing some hills. And I drew like a little snowman. And then on the snowman, I drew like a little red scarf and like a nose and like the dots and stuff.
Amazing.
And so the paper, when you see it, is just like the shell of a snowman with no body and nothing else around it. And it's just like in the corner. And I like looked at it once, like going through like old papers. And I was like, what is this? And then I felt the paper and I was like, oh, there's supposed to be snow.
Did you touch it? You touched
Yeah,
it? You
well,
felt the paper and then
like,
you got the memory back from touching the
yeah,
piece of
I was
paper.
like, oh, right. So now there's just this random drawing that I remember from childhood of having just a boneless snowman.
It's cursed.
Yeah.
Truly a cursed image.
Cursed image. That explains who I am,
You gotta put it on your fridge, and then people are like, oh, who drew this? Your kid? And you're like, yes.
Yeah. Yes, my imaginary children. Which, speaking of imaginary children, let's get down to the topic of the week.
What a segue!
Oh my god, wow, that was actually great. Anyways, we are talking about Japanese urban legends, like I said before.
Mm-hmm. And the first one we're talking about today is Hanako-san.
Ooh, yeah, we're going to cover quite a few. I don't remember the amount, but we're going to cover a few.
Yeah.
We're going to get down to the details, and just learn about them, learn with you. A lot of them are kind of scary, because now that we live in Japan, I'm like looking over my shoulder like, don't get me.
Truthfully scared to like walk around the streets and like there's a lot of alleyways and
oh my god, right?
Like Kamakura, and they just was it Asasaka, Akameguro, like all these people, like they've got so many like little
there's a lot of like
alleyways
spooky hallways and stuff that you have to end up walking down, and like crime isn't very high, like violent crime isn't super high in Japan, but still, like I feel like Japanese spirits and like ghost stories like hit different. Like you hear them and they're so wild.
I've got to be honest though, they're pretty silly. Some of them are pretty.
Some
like,
of them are kind of.
They can get pretty silly. They can get kind of like you're like with today's logic, you're just like no way.
Yeah.
But two things that I've noticed are pretty common on a lot of the Japanese urban legends that we've come across is one, they all deal with a choice. Most of them deal with a choice. There's always a question you have to answer. And a second one, a lot of them happen in bathrooms.
Right.
Why are they always in the toilet?
You're never safe. You're not safe.
It's when you're most vulnerable. It's when your pants are around your ankles and you're sitting there just thinking, leaving those like red marks on your knees because you're on your phone too long.
Oh my god, isn't that literally what they said in Zombieland though? They're gonna get you when you're vulnerable in the bathroom.
It's like what, rule number 3? Like
don't go into the bathroom unprepared.
Just don't do it.
Yeah. Anyways,
but the bathroom is also a place where Hanako-san lurks.
Yes, our very first abductee of the week. So tell me.
Hanako-san. She's probably one of the more popular ones. She's one I knew, I think, prior to coming to Japan. But she's a young girl who haunts Japanese school bathrooms, specifically, which is weird, the third floor bathroom, and specifically the third stall in that bathroom. I'm assuming the third stall from the door.
Right.
Like you walk in, 1, 2, 3, boom. And specifically the girls' bathroom.
1, 2, 3, ghost.
So it's like it can be any Japanese school bathroom, third floor, third stall. But apparently, one of the versions is Hanako-san was a girl that was going to school back around the World War II era, and a bomb fell and blew up and killed her. I'm assuming many other people as well, but Hanako was doing the business when it happened and has remained in that third floor, third stall bathroom ever since.
That's so embarrassing.
Isn't that bad?
I mean, that's probably why she's so angry. Is like, dang, they got her when she was fully down.
Yeah, like you were dropping your dookie, and then someone dropped their bigger dookie, and then like there you go.
Right, exactly. So they were just Deuces. I'm so sorry. Right.
Another story is that she committed suicide inside, or that she was murdered by a parent or a stranger in the bathroom, which would be awful. I mean,
Right. That's not better.
no, I mean, I know our parents like had to sign like waivers and stuff to come into the school just to say what's up, like
Right.
how are like you just to come inside the door, you got to get like all this
Yeah, yeah.
like
check ID.
paperwork filled out and everything. Now, back then they didn't have any of that, so you just like stroll up, be like, hey, here's your lunch, or like whatever, like, hey, I want you to pet your dog real quick, and then like leave. Who knows? They got their dogs everywhere with them here in Japan. They just kind of have them in like little doggy houses that they carry around with them.
Yeah. But regardless, she's trapped. Her soul is trapped.
Yeah, she's stuck in the bathroom, y'all, and she's
know.
got this bobbed haircut, and she's always wearing like this red skirt or dress. I mean, it can vary from like different versions and stuff, but
Right. It's like, because all of them have like those like either red or navy like school uniform situations. So I think it's one of those generic Japanese school uniform situations.
yeah, I'm sure y'all watch your anime where they're all like, you see like the skirts and like they have like that weird like tie thing around their neck.
Yeah, yeah.
If you've seen like Inuyasha, Kagome wears one.
Yeah, yeah. That type. That's what she's described to be wearing.
But she's basically our version, like the Japanese version of Bloody Mary. So like, it's not so much you call out her name like 3 times or whatever and spin around in the dark. Is that what it is? You look in the mirror. Is that what like Bloody Mary is? But for Hanako-san specifically, if you'd like to summon her, if you'd like to go see her, not that I would know why you want to do that.
I'm not trying to do that. No, thank you. No, ma'am, Pam.
You would go to this 3rd floor bathroom in a school somewhere.
Are we not on the 3rd floor of our building right now? Riddle me this.
Are we in a school?
No, but I'm just saying.
We are in the 4th
third...
room though, so it'd be next door that would have Hanako-san if she'd be living there. That's where she lives.
Too close for comfort.
Her day job is going to the bathroom in schools and haunting them there. That's my assumption.
Right, but gotta be safe.
But if you want to summon her, all you have to do is you got to go up to that 3rd stall in the 3rd bathroom, 3rd floor story bathroom, whatever. You know the words I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
go to that.
the
and
3x3.
You call out, Hanako-san, are you there? Normally in Japanese, because she was Japanese when she died. So she probably wouldn't understand English. She could. Who knows?
Yeah, are ghosts like
Are they bilingual?
translingual? Yeah, like
Translingual?
Like if they're transcendent of like our plane, are they translingual too? Like they could just like
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't want to find out though. I don't want to find out though.
So what
The ghost is like you like say her name and she's like Nani, and you're like I just asked if you were there, and she's like what in her language, and you're like what, and you're just standing there screaming, I don't understand.
She's like, I can't kill you unless you say it in Japanese.
And you're like, huh?
What?
Are you no? So you're not there, and she's like, what?
Maybe it's like how it works at work, where we get like Hanako-san, and they're like, what? And you're like, oh, Hanako-san, and they're like, oh, that's what you said.
And they're like, oh, right, yeah.
Like you just got to throw an accent on there, and
Yeah.
it's no matter how bad, and they don't take offense to it. They're just like, oh, now we understand you.
Right.
It's really, really interesting. But
I would assume.
you call out Hanako-san, you're like, yo, what's up? Are you there? Knocking on the door, and she's like, yeah, 'tis me. And then normally you can hear her crying on the other side, and you'll get like the door flinging open, and one of 3 things will happen, which none of them have any sort of relation to each other that I've ever
Literally.
made sense of.
Just one of the 3 versions of the urban legend.
Truth. So number 1, a 3-headed lizard jumps out and eats you.
Hot.
That's not Hanako-san. That's a lizard. That's a reptile. Who put that in the toilet?
Yeah, no. Mrs. Kipling, are you okay?
Hanako-san is either crying. Sorry, the second version is that she's crying, and she then grabs you, drags you into the toilet, which turns into a portal to hell.
Great. Awesome.
So she's buddy with Satan, being like, yo, what's up?
Direct line.
Look who I got from the toilet.
You arrive down in hell, and they're like, incoming.
Incoming! Oh, another dookie. Everyone pulls out their umbrellas. And you start
straight
bouncing down.
from the 3rd floor bathroom, 3rd stall. This shithead. Brr, 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 insert your name here. And
It's
then
Shafid.
Yeah. And then Satan and them are just like, 1, 2, 3, toilet. I don't know. And then that's how you get there.
And Hanako-san's in like, yo, what's up? She's like giving everyone high fives, and she's like, it's her club, you know?
The VIP entrance. I hope that doesn't happen.
Neither do I.
Okay.
And the last one is that Hanako-san will just cut you up and kill you. That's like she'll just leave your dead body there, which is actually weird because there's a real life account of this ghost kind of existing.
Oh, wow. Oh, no.
There's a story where a little girl went into the bathroom and heard Hanako-san. Like, was like, hey, are you there? And she's like, yes. And she was able to dip out of the bathroom fast enough to be like, yo, there's someone else in there. She answered to this. Do something about it. And the teachers were like, you know what we need? The police.
Oh, no.
They're like, ghosts? Police.
Police.
Because that's who you call.
Right.
We all know who you call.
Ghostbusters.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Not
the police. Doesn't sound the same.
They call the police. They get the officers in, and then there's they're like, well, it's a girl's bathroom. We can't just send anybody in there. So they get a female officer. They send her in. The officer goes,
right, because in this time of need, they're like, you know what? It's a gendered bathroom, though. Priorities.
Yeah, absolutely. They're like that. We can't send a guy in there. What if there's somebody else in there?
What if they're, the lack of urinals is just very terrifying. Because what if you had to pee during the middle of it? Can't be in a toilet, apparently.
But also, like, think about this. All the toilets in there are, like, squat toilets. They're all, like, Eastern toilets. Sure? Yeah. They're all, it's World War II.
Maybe. We'll have to
I don't think they had Western toilets until afterwards.
Look into the history of the normal Western toilet.
So then the female officer goes into the bathroom and goes, yo, Hanako-san, you here? Mm-hmm. And everyone else outside the bathroom hears screams in terror. They bust it open, and she's, like, ripped to shreds, dead on the ground.
That's wild.
So this police officer, who I'm assuming was armed, was just killed by Hanako-san, quote-unquote. And from that point on...
Well, we don't know. Maybe because, the police here don't be that armed, depending on, like, what...
They got 2
hands?
Arms.
Oh, right. Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe. Like, I guess I can't assume. They could be an amputee.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know. They're
from World War
One.
They're just like, yes, it's World War II times now.
Yes.
I only have 1 arm.
1 arm, but I'm still armed.
I'm still armed. It counts.
Yeah, no, probably. But
that's basically the gist of Hanako-san. She lives today. It's kind of like a little folk tale that they're a little spoopy story that kids will share to each other to kind of scare each other. Just like Bloody Mary is to us, It's just like a little thing to, I don't know, maybe not to take too long in the bathroom and lurk around, or like no one goes. Like we had a stall at like in choir camp. Where, like, you would never go to that stall because that was, like, the gross one where all the dudes went to do their thing in that stall. So, like, if you were, like, seen coming out of that stall...
Oh, they know that you just
schmeat your meat inside, and right. You're like, oh, that he just made ground beef.
Made ground beef. Mm-hmm.
So
Nutted and butted.
But,
right.
Pluck the cherries.
Pluck the cherries.
Yeah.
Chewed and booted.
But you'd always go, like, next to it, and then you'd, like, sky poop, and then that's where, like, Hanako-san probably didn't like.
Right, exactly.
I like how she knows what sky pooping is. She's a real one. She giggles and poop.
Giggles and poop. Don't say that. That's horrible. But yes. Yeah, anyway, she's just like Bloody Mary-esque character. I feel like the kids at school probably play that, and then, like, someone ends up getting locked in the bathroom, probably, like, the person who didn't run away the fastest, and it would probably be someone like me. Yeah. Anyways, so in pop culture, though, obviously this kind of stuff pops off. Like, the kids want to know, the kids want to see it. And she's appeared in films and manga and anime and video games. And she made her first cinematic appearance in the 1995 film Toire no Hanako-san, which just means, like, Hanako-san at the toilet. Yeah. Basically.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
What a great title.
It's just about her.
And it was directed by Joji Matsuoka, which I'm sure we will come back to in a little bit. He is a famous horror director here in Japan. And in this movie, he actually depicts her as a girl who committed suicide and then haunts the toilet of the school, which is a little bit different than, like, the more widely accepted version. But, I mean, I feel like for horror, they're always, like, looking for the pain and the trauma of suicide stories, at least especially here in Japan. It's more, like, of a trope, I guess.
It makes sense for, like, making it a malevolent spirit.
Right. It's more, like, in pain, quote unquote. And not to, like, discount the actual issue in Japan with suicide in school-age children, but it's definitely a common thing that is seen a lot more in horror. It was also in another film 3 years later, 1998, Shinsei Toire no Hanako-san, which is almost the exact same title. And she is portrayed as a vengeful ghost who just haunts the middle school that she attended before she died. And this one's not a suicide. I believe that one was a murder.
Oh, okay.
In the 1998 film.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of a change. And then the 1995 film name was reiterated in 2013, but instead of, it is still a suicide, but they kind of use like a bullying framing in this one. 2013, we're kind of talking about bullying and like mental health and stuff now. So there's been
3 films.
Yeah, like just about her.
Just about her. Just so like if you guys have either watched this film or any of these films or plan to, let us know. Let us know where we can find it, because we'd love to watch them. See if they're translated in English for us to understand.
I think they're at least the 2013 one is subbed.
Let's go.
To my understanding. And then there's a manga series. But in the manga, the character is depicted as Hanako-kun, which is a boy. So it's a little boy instead of a little girl.
Interesting.
Yeah, which is kind of wild. And in 2020, literally just last year, they turned it into an anime.
Yo!
So all you weebs out there, I know you're listening.
I'm going to see if I can find it on Funimation or something.
Yeah. And it's an anime. Yeah. So that's cute or whatever. And then she also appears in the anime and video game franchise Yokai Watch.
No
but
way.
You know Yokai Watch?
Yeah.
Right.
It's like the knockoff Pokemon.
Right. It has a different spin to it.
I'm sure it does. I haven't really looked into it, but I know of it.
Yeah, like you can play it on Switch, you can play it on Wii U. You can watch the series.
3DS, I think.
3DS?
Yeah.
You can watch the series on, I think, YouTube. So a lot of the episodes are uploaded as well.
Maybe we can do it.
But it's like, like the kids will like go and like, yokai means like ghost or spirit.
It's a ghost, yeah.
Yeah, but there's a lot of like different creatures that fall under the umbrella of yokai. So like in the anime, the kids like collect all their different little friends that are kind of like these creatures, and they're like obviously cute and stuff, and they will be able to call on them to use them in like battles or certain situations, just like in Pokemon. But what got me was that in the English dub, you want to know what they named her?
What do they name her?
Toiletta.
Heck yes.
This is a reason why ghosts come back to haunt us, because we be doing some dumb shit like this. And they're like, what would be a great name for a ghost who could probably, kill me? I'm gonna name her Toilet. Like,
gotta make it cute though. Toiletta.
They said, "Oh, toilet. That's too manly. Toiletta." Anyways, I thought that was the worst. Like they could have just kept her name. Like Hanako is not a difficult name to say.
Nah, it's true. But to Americanize things, a lot of the time they'll do stuff like that. Like Pokemon does it for Ash.
Oh right.
What's his name? Satoshi.
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 Satoshi. Yeah.
Satoshi. Yeah, like his name is not the same. Most of like Brock is not Brock. Misty,
well,
not Misty.
They got people out here named like Steve in Pokemon, and you're like, I know his name is not Steve.
Well, I mean, they're a little more clever about that. They're like, what's he? He's a rock type gym leader? We're gonna name him Brock. We're gonna put a B on the end. The beginning of that, and that makes not Rock Brock.
Oh, he's an electric type. What's his owner's name?
Lieutenant.
Belectric?
Belectric. No, it's Lieutenant Surge.
Oh. Never mind.
He's in the army. Give him respect.
Belectric sounds cooler, but anyways.
Belectric. Sounds like a drink.
Yeah. Anyways, we've descended into madness. We're not recording on our normal day, and I feel like this is why we're going insane.
It's hump day.
It's hump day. We usually record on Tuesdays. Hashtag exposing ourselves. Anyways.
We're in the future.
Do-do-do. That's what I thought the future would sound like, but then it just sounded like a knockoff Alexa.
Hey, Ashley.
Do-do-do.
Talk about Okiku the doll.
That's your job.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Don't tell me to talk about the next topic.
Okay, no, I'll talk about it. Yeah, okay. let me tell you about. We're gonna go from Hanako-san, and we're gonna go talk about another little girl, because a lot of times these are little girls. There's like all like young children, females that are just haunting up everything. Why do they all gotta be so scary?
Because it's easy to blame a woman.
Or bad things have happened to the woman, and she got a reason to be mad about it.
Exactly. Period.
Because I mean, way back, I would not want to live 300 years ago.
But yeah, okay, let's switch gears and talk about this doll situation. No one likes a doll in horror movies. I don't know anybody who likes a doll.
No, you've seen like Saw. There's Jigsaw. Jigsaw.
There's Annabelle.
Annabelle, we love Annabelle.
There's the other one. Chucky. No, I was thinking of one that the guy from Ghost Adventures has. Yeah, but I forgot his name now.
I don't know that one.
Yeah.
But like I think everyone sees a doll like a porcelain doll shop, and they're just like they get a little bit of a shiver.
Yeah.
You know, and they've got a couple of them here. Like we went to Nakano Broadway. There we go. Yeah. Wow, I said that in unison. That was cute.
Broadway. Almost like Broadway.
Hey there, USA. Wait, what is that one from? What is that from? So that's not this one. That's like what? That's not Family Guy. That's the other one with the alien in it. Because it makes sense.
Futurama?
No.
I know the fat gray one. The little stubby one.
Why can't I remember it? Oh, I can't remember what you're talking about. No, wants you to kill me. If y'all know what it is, say it in the comments.
Yeah.
American Dad, that's what it is.
American Dad. There you go.
But I don't know why that came up when you said Broadway.
Broadway.
It's probably because Seth MacFarlane belongs on a stage. His voice is immaculate. But anyway, Okiku the doll. In 1918, a 17-year-old Aikichi Suzuki bought his 2-year-old little sister Okiku, or sometimes referred to as Kikuko. He gave her a doll. He's like, yeah, yo, little sis, I got you this. It's a present because I love you. And she's like, oh my God, big brother, I love this. This is my favorite doll in the whole world. And I'm going to take it with me everywhere. And she did not let go of that doll. She had it with her everywhere she went. And let me give you the specs on this doll. About 40 centimeters tall.
Yeah, give us the speed, give us the agility, the strength.
I actually do have some, like, on some, like, a later topic, I actually have the speed of it.
Wow. Oh, my God. Okay.
But I don't got the speed of this one. I think 0 miles per hour is the speed on this one, except for some accounts said it did move, in some other renditions in pop culture. But it was 40 centimeters tall, dressed in a traditional kimono. The doll was exquisite, but the hair was something that was really cool about this doll. It was raven black, and it was cut, as most dolls in that time were, in like this shoulder length Okappa hairstyle, which is basically like, you mentioned it earlier, Rock Lee from Naruto.
Very similar.
Basically that. It's just that like that bobbed haircut where it's just like not any longer than shoulder length, just straight cut, and then like right above the eyebrows, straight cut bangs. It's just it's very, very clean. It's something that we see a lot here just on people in Japan anyway. A lot of women have that haircut. And basically what happened with Okiku, the girl, she ended up, either she named the doll or later on the doll was named Okiku. She ended up getting really sick. She got really, really sick. Some say it was yellow fever. And back then it was pretty deadly for someone that young and stuff. So she ended up passing away a year after she received the doll in 1919. And she was only 3 years old.
So sad.
And so the family like buried her. And there were some plans to like kind of bury the doll with her. But they kept it as a keepsake, I think. Because they wanted like something to remember her by. And the doll, whether they named it after she died or whether she named it herself, Okiku was the name that stuck to this doll. And then they started to notice something pretty strange about this doll after they had like kind of set it up and like put it in like a little like, oh, here's Okiku's little spot, like remembrance.
The shrine.
Yeah.
They do that a lot in Japanese households. They do like shrine, like Buddhist small shrines in households for people who have died in your family. It's very common.
It's a really cute thing to like to kind of hold the memory of a past loved one, and basically they noticed that very slowly the hair was growing on this doll, which is weird. Imagine that.
I'm leaving.
Like you get your sister like a Barbie or something. You're like, hey, here you go. Hey, they just go to a garage sale, grab one, and give it to her, and then like all of a sudden like it's Rapunzel. It's like it turns into a Rapunzel Barbie, and you're like, how?
Yeah,
that thing like had a bob. Like some like 2-year-old took scissors to it and like it was all jacked up. Now it's like super long in comparison. Like that's a little weird.
Yeah, I feel like I'd be going insane. Like I'd be like, was that doll hair like that or was it not? And I would just do like a quick double take and be like, that's suspicious. That's weird.
And so they suspected that because they noticed the hair grew, maybe the girl's spirit was inside the doll.
She airdropped her spirit into the doll.
She's like just waiting for it to accept. She's waiting. Just waiting. Turn your Bluetooth on. Thank you. Boop. Open your phone.
Okay.
It's now accepted. Cool.
Passes away. Yeah, literally. So no, thank you. I would literally rather not have the airdropped soul of my 3-year-old in this doll.
I didn't know they had
But,
Bluetooth back then.
You know, the Bluetooth souls, man. They're just pioneering the way.
Why does that sound like a band?
Bluetooth souls?
Or like a genre.
Bluetooth souls. Yeah, Bluetooth soul music.
Bust up
Woo,
the
it's all
sax.
the rage.
The Japanese sax going down.
According to a couple websites, the family started to dream of Okiku and their daughter, and sometimes the doll would either appear by their side at the morning, or like they would see lights flicking on and off, or they would just hear random stuff in the house, like strange voices, things like that.
Creepy.
And it would kind of get a little bit more, what do you say, like recurring? Like it would recur.
It happened more than once.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't just like, oh, this happened one
It
time.
would start to get more intense as like Okiku's birthday and the day of her death came by, but they were never malicious. Like it was just things that you're like kind of questioning, like, am I crazy or is that happening? You know?
The doll that I purchased that was not meant to move is moving.
Yeah.
like it's moving.
Hello.
Not okay.
Yeah, so then they just kind of would get intense, but nothing like malicious would happen. It was just kind of those things that like made you question whether or not you were a little bit, you know, losing it. So, anyways, a few years later in 1938, Kikuko's father gave the doll to Manenji Temple to be looked after because him and the family had to move to the main island area of Honshu for work. So they are currently up in Hokkaido, which is like the northernmost island, and they came down to the main island, Honshu area, to come and like just live a more decent life.
Yeah, no,
and
that's behind.
he was really convinced, the dad was, that the doll's soul was only like attached, or the girl's soul was only attached because of the proximity to her grave. So he didn't want to sever that connection or like make her angry. So he was like, hey, y'all keep this, take care of it, because I don't want it to get mad.
Truth.
They're just like, take this. And luckily at Manenji Temple, the priests were like, yes, thank you. Like, we'll take good care of it. Like, we understand. They explained, like, you know, the whole situation. And they were like, yeah, like, we feel like it'd be best to just leave her here.
Yeah, we'll keep watch on it.
Yeah.
You know.
Right. And apparently one of the priests had a dream that the spirit of the girl asked for him to cut her hair as it started to like slowly start to grow past the shoulder length that it normally once was in memory of her. So over time, her hair got longer all the way down to like the doll's feet. And the priest said, you know what, like, I'm gonna just give it a little snip, a little
Yup.
trim, if you will. And he just went and did it because he was asked. And I would also do it if they asked me because I would be scared to make the ghost upset. I don't know. And even today, you can go to the temple in Hokkaido to see the doll yourself, but photography is not currently allowed. They just want her to like be in peace, which is great, you know.
Yeah,
like,
hey, let's go do it. Let's go
oh
see
my
it.
god, we could literally go.
I haven't been to Hokkaido yet.
Me neither.
And
We're
this
supposed
winter, I want to go skiing.
Yeah.
And I'm going to Nagano, but like my other place I want to go is Hokkaido. So like if
Yeah.
we go, we're going to Manenji Temple.
Yeah, we gotta go see it. A lot of these things, I'm like, ooh, do we go? Oh my god, that's so scary.
I want to do it.
Yeah, so that's crazy. But anyways, other like little stats and facts is that the hair clippings that were taken from the doll were like given to scientists, and they were like, oh yeah, this is human hair. Why do you want to know? And then the priests who took it were like, oh, no reason. Just wanted to know what this was. And they're like, oh, and they're like, oh.
I mean, my only like thing that would kind of normalize this is that like now it's made of plastic. It's made
Right, but like back then.
Back then, like where did they get the hair from? I know sometimes like with like brushes and things like that, they'd use like horse hair or they'd use like animal hair. But also, I mean, like we have human hair wigs now.
Right, I wouldn't put it past them to have used like human hair dolls.
Yeah. I don't think that'd be too odd, especially if you wanted it to look like as authentic and as real as possible.
Right, if it's like a good doll.
But the fact that it was growing still is still a problem.
Yeah, no, that's an issue. That's an issue. But yeah, that's what I was wondering. I was like, okay, they took hair clippings, which like literally could have come from anywhere to get like examined. Like that to me is a little sus because it's like, why didn't you take the actual doll? Because it was always just like the bits of hair that they had quote unquote cut off. But that's a little sus. I don't know. Anyways, it said also that like certain people have seen like the gums of the inside of the mouth, not necessarily the gums, because like I don't know.
Yeah.
But they said that if they peek in, that they can see like baby teeth starting to grow in and stuff. But it'll be like at different phases of growth depending on who sees it,
Interesting.
which is kind of nasty. But also that could be like a matter of angles and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering when was the last trim, And like,
Right. I want to know like the growth pattern.
I need, like, if I were me, I would want 24/7 surveillance on this thing. No one's allowed going in there and changing the wig. Like, you know, like keeping this thing up. I want to know like when the last cut was, like, because the photos of it that you do end up seeing, like, the hair is
pretty long, yeah.
So, and it looks kind of blonde to me, doesn't it? Like the tips of it.
Well, I think that like with normal human hair, it gets lighter at the ends. Yeah, as like time goes on, but yeah, it's definitely sus to me, like that they have it in this temple and stuff. But like, I don't know, we'll believe it when we see it. But I don't want to try her, you know, like good if she's there. No offense.
She's not done anything mean.
Right, yeah, but she's also not known for like evil or violent acts against anybody. It's one of the only like dolls that has been very chill and like has not done anything crazy.
Probably because there's been so much respect to her.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
Know? Like probably because like parents were like, we saw you, we love you, but we gotta leave. But we're gonna leave you here so you're not separated.
Yeah, they were very respectful.
And we're gonna leave you to this temple. They're gonna feed you every day. They got nice food, nice peeps.
Yeah, they're gonna cut your hair like you asked. So that's, I think, a big reason why she's not been angry and stuff. But, you know, good for her. She's up there. We might go see her. If we do, we'll have to film it for the Instagrams.
Will not catch me getting my kid any sort of doll ever like that. Yeah. Nope. It might be a Barbie, but not a...
You don't know who could get possessed. You don't know.
You're right. Maybe it's going to be like my son's fire truck or something like that.
Yeah. Wee woo. Wee woo, more like wee boo. Anyways, let's keep it rolling because we've still got a lot to get through. And we are moving on to our next story, our final one before the break, if you're looking out for that.
This one's like the spookiest, like creepiest visual that I think we've had. Yes. I don't think any other one kind of compares to, like, maybe the one later on, but like this one is like what I've got the stats on.
Okay, this one's like horror.
Yeah, this is something like I feel like I didn't know until I got here, and then I got here and I was like, okay, you ain't gonna catch me anywhere else. Like I ain't gonna ride the train no more because Teke is gonna get you. That's what it's gonna be. She is scary. Several different versions of this story. I think you're gonna cover one of them, and I'll cover another one. This one says it's the ghost of a schoolgirl who accidentally fell onto a railway track. And she couldn't get up in time before the train came passing by, and it sliced her in half. So it was completely accidental. She was just trying to cross the train tracks while the arms were coming down, and she just I'm assuming she smacked her head off of like the arm, didn't see it, and then like fell over on the thing, and then just couldn't get up in time. But the train ended up slicing her in half, and she's considered an onryo. Which is like a vengeful spirit. So I'm happy you wrote this down because I also wrote this down too. It's a certain kind of yurei that is just like massively vengeful, super, super dangerous, not something you want to play with, and is like known to like rip people to shreds. Very, very, very evil spirit. Known for killing and injuring its enemies, and then wants to just cause harm to the entire living world, and even causing natural disasters to exact vengeance. To readdress the wrongs it's received while alive, then taking the spirits from their dying bodies. Basically, she lurks around like urban areas and like around the train stations at night and stuff. I've heard some talks about her like being in schools and bathrooms. I don't quite believe that one so much. It just makes sense for her to be around a train station or like urban areas like alleyways and things like that on the streets. Always outside. She's normally always outside doing something. And she's no longer got her lower half. That's it. Like she's like just the upper body from like the like hips up, and how she gets around is she like walks on her hands.
Yeah, I know.
And the sound of her walking on her hands is where she gets her name. Teke. It's like tick. Yeah. Of her like nails like scratching on the ground, and her scratching on the ground and everything, like her nails sharpen themselves. Yeah. And she basically goes up to her victims and she slices them in half at the torso and like tries to take their legs and stuff like that. Sometimes she's even known to like have a sickle on her, which from what I saw.
To help her with the slicing.
But I don't know where she got no pockets. She got no pants.
Oh, you're right.
So where she keep that
shirt pocket?
I mean, a lot of girls keep their stuff in the boobs. Like, I don't know how y'all do it, but y'all like just
scythe.
Like just like shoving all like y'all pull out your whole purse.
That's why her boobs are so big. They're full of secrets.
Teke. The sound of her hands are the teke, but her sounds of her other things are making. What would the words be of her?
Titty slaps.
Tata tatas.
Yes, the tata tatas.
Ta-ta-ta-tas.
Oh no. See, we're gonna get got by this thing because we're out here just making fun.
The boogaloos.
The book. Oh my god. I'm so scared that we're gonna get got by her. Not this. And anyways, so according to yokai.com, which has become very handy, I would highly recommend checking out their website because they have a lot of information. Yeah, but this is all from them. So, kind of credit and shout out to them for this little bit that I'm going to say. But Teke Teke was allegedly, obviously with all the urban legend situations, there's so many variations, but the most common ones, according to this site, point towards a woman from Hokkaido named Kashima Reiko. So, allegedly, years after World War II, an office worker in Hokkaido was assaulted and raped by American military personnel.
Not okay.
Not okay. That night, she leaped off of a bridge onto the railroad tracks and was hit by an oncoming train. She was just trying to run off after this incident. And the impact was so forceful that her body was torn in half at the waist, and the severe cold of the Hokkaido night, which is the farthest north in Japan, caused her blood vessels to contract and prevented her from bleeding out super quickly. So, yeah, that's
like she's cut in half.
Right, so she's cut in half, but because, the cold, made the blood vessels go...
She's just dripping blood. She's not pouring out blood. And so she's very conscious right now, right?
Right, and she squirmed and wiggled about, just trying to get some help for several minutes and crawled down to the train station, lights, and was seen by an attendant. But the attendant, instead of trying to help her, just covered her with a tarp and she just ended up dying. Which sounds like a very Japanese thing to do. I feel like they're
let's just kick
not
that
trying to
under
get
the rug.
involved, though. Not trying to get involved.
The thing is, how do you help that, though? You're like, oh, yeah, I see a lot of people just cut in half on my day. This is what you do to save yourself.
Right.
I mean, granted, people do live from that kind of injury, but, it doesn't say she was sliced by the train tracks. It said, she was hit by the train so hard that she just ripped in half.
Right.
So it wasn't a clean cut. This was gross, and she was mutilated most likely, and she was just
not
awful.
good.
No.
So they just said, okay, good night.
Tucked her in, and she died under the tarp. I'm assuming a couple minutes later.
And according to legend, 3 days after hearing the story, beware listeners, you will see the ghost of a woman with no lower half. The ghost is that of the woman that was hit, obviously, and it'll try to catch you, and escape is impossible, allegedly even in a car.
Yeah, that's where my stats come from. Apparently, she can run on her hands as fast 150 kilometers an hour.
No.
Which is 93 miles an hour.
I rebuke this.
Most people don't even drive that fast on a 65 highway,
Right.
That's a stat. Someone's like, I had the speedometer out when she was running. I saw it. I had Chuck run. I said, hey, go get Chuck. He's got legs. And she chased him, and I pointed it at her and said, 150 kilometers. Got her. Clocked it.
That's how they got it. Well, if she's running that fast on her hands, girl, she could have gotten the Paralympics instead of killing people.
She got strength.
Missed her opportunity this past season, God.
It wasn't Tokyo, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Was she there?
Corona, though, she didn't get her shot.
That's true. Probably. I don't know.
She's got an arm. She could have gotten it.
She could be using her talents for the Paralympics. Anyways, some say that the ghost is still searching for her legs, just looking for her, because I would look for them too. That sucks. I grew them myself. Fuck. I want them back. And others say that she's angry at humanity for not helping her while she was dying, not showing her a lot of compassion. They didn't even try. She just died, and then later on, Poof. Authorities came, ages later. And
as they do, with the solders.
Just out here taking hours.
7 hours and be like, yeah, I'll get there.
Literally, we could name so many things that we could do in 7 hours. Literally anything.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So I could eat so many bowls of cereal.
Right?
Also, congratulations on your legs. You grew them on your own.
Yeah, I did.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I mean, with some help, but they're mostly mine. And
Miracle
grow. So Miracle Grow. Yeah, basically, she was out there just trying to get her revenge because how rude,
Yeah, that's rude.
That is rude. And if she catches you with her fast arms, she will tear you in half and steal the lower half of your body for herself. I mean, she can't really wear it anymore, but it's giving, what's the movie, Onward? It's giving Onward.
I mean, I guess so. Yeah, a little bit. Well, what's when a murderer murders somebody. They do.
When a murderer murders.
That's when someone, murderers do. They murder people, and they just kind of caress the dead body because that's they want something dead. They don't want
Well, it's they like to keep the trophies and stuff.
Yeah. So they kind of cuddle up with it. I assume that's what she does. She's holding it. She's maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
But then she's like, oh well, They're like,
Can't use
they're
these.
too cold. I need new ones.
Yeah.
She gets bored.
Yeah. So shortly after hearing the legend, she will ask you a riddle in a different reiteration. So if you see her in this version of the story, she's like gonna come up to you in a dream or in a mysterious phone call. She again just out here.
Grabs the payphone, stands on one arm, reaches up, grabs the payphone, gets the quarters out of the pockets she doesn't have, puts them in the payphone, and is like,
Hello.
Damn, they didn't pick up.
Let me try again.
The operator's not home. Just like the Sodders.
Yeah. So she somehow makes a phone call. I don't know if she got a phone from like someone else's leg pockets. I don't know where she's
She
getting
still
the
has a cell phone. She's
Yeah.
like, oh, iPhone 13, sick.
Hell yeah.
Beep, boo, boo, bop, boo, boo, bop.
Ring ring.
Ring, ring.
Surprise, bitch.
It's a hotline bling.
Hotline bling. You know, it can only mean one thing. Kashima Reiko.
Get it.
Yeah,
What'd
so-
she ask you, though?
But she's out there, you know, just trying to contact you, conscious or unconscious. And the only way to escape death is to answer her questions the exact right way. And the exact right way isn't even the same way according to most sources. Like, obviously, like an urban legend does, it changes.
Yeah.
So if she asks you, do you need your legs? You have to reply, yeah, I need them right now. Because, like, most of the time
Yeah,
you're going to
I'm
need your
using them.
legs. Yeah. Right.
Sorry.
And then she'll ask you afterwards, like, who told you my story? And you have to say Kashima Reiko. And the kanji in this name are kind of symbolic. The ka is mask, shi is death, ma as in demon, re as in ghost, and ko as in accident. So altogether it's Kashima Reiko, which is like this weird, like, anagram situation of like different spooky words. And if you answer her riddles without mistake, she will probably let you live.
Probably.
Unconfirmed.
Unconfirmed.
But that is the story of Teke Teke as far as I have, and that was all according to yokai.com. But in pop culture, she was brought to the silver screen again by Koji Shirashi. We just mentioned him a couple slides ago. He is a famous horror director in Japan, and he made a movie in 2009 with the same name. And, you know, obviously scary AF. Like, they got the girl
I've seen stuff. Oh,
Yeah,
I
the
love
trailer
the
was
ring.
not it.
I love the ring stuff, but the Teke Teke movie and some of the stuff that you see from, like, I've seen clips. Very, very creepy.
Yeah, and in the film, a young woman named Kana encounters the Teke Teke after her friend, like one of her friends just gets taken by her, and she was like, oh my god. And the movie does not have great ratings, and apparently just takes, like, just be stealing from the ring as far as, like, plot and stuff. But, you know, it's tired. But what movie, like, hasn't stolen from another movie in horror?
Truth.
There's not very many, like, greats in horror movies. I feel like it's always kind of the same recycled tropes, but the movie is there. There's also a first-person horror indie game situation that you can purchase on Steam for like 500 yen. And it has mixed reviews again, not great, but people did try to make it into like this kind of like puzzle and like mystery game where like you're trying to run away from her, and if you don't, kind of like Slenderman.
Okay,
but, like, worse.
yeah. Maybe I
Right.
should try it. I'll play it on stream or something if y'all want me to.
Yeah,
I do that stuff.
he does do that
I
stuff.
do the damn thing.
He does the do. But yeah, it's like only 500 yen on Steam, so if you want to take a crack at it. Anyways, that was the story of the Teke Teke.
You know, I've always thought Teke Teke sounded more like the train. Teke, teke.
Oh yeah.
Like
That's,
like
why
that's
would you
like-
say that? That is so scary.
Doesn't
that
that
is
sound
so
like it though? Like
scary,
now
yeah.
when you're at the train station, instead of listening to the
Bitch,
moaning
I'm
seals,
scared.
you hear that like tick, tick, tick.
Oh my god, no, I have to go on this train every day. Stop. This is so scary. Okay, well, we're going to take a break because I need to emotionally and mentally prepare myself for the rest of my life in Japan while trying not to die. So we'll see you guys in a couple seconds.
And I'm gonna be here trying to make it as hard as possible for her to do so. Tick, 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 tick.
Shut up.
Got legs?
Yes.
Cat has them.
No, I need them.
Okay,
Okay.
21.
Bye.
So we're back. I hope you didn't go too far. We just giving you a little bit of a reminder that we talked about teke earlier.
2 seconds ago.
Yeah, literally for y'all.
A few minutes for us.
But you know, this next one is probably the most terrifying, most scary ghost that we have on the list.
What is it?
The Curse of Colonel Sanders.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I was joking about the actual scariness of this curse. This is one I found, and it's something I actually heard of when I got here. It's a pretty silly thing that I think they like to talk about, like to at least us gaijin.
Yeah.
I actually heard it from Josh.
Yeah, because we can apparently relate to Colonel Sanders as Americans. That's just something that we identify with.
And when we're talking about Colonel Sanders, yes, we're talking about KFC's Colonel Sanders, the Colonel of Chicken himself.
Also, wait, side note, I know that we weren't going to do more side notes, but like, I just want to know why Colonel is spelled Colonel. You know, as someone who didn't learn English as their first language, it took me an embarrassing amount of years to figure out that Colonel and Colonel just were not, it just...
America Explained.
Yeah, it was a lot for me. And when I finally realized, I think at like 15, that like Colonel was spelled like that, yeah, it was very eye-opening.
I learned how to say Colonel through Clue.
Oh.
But it wasn't because that was spelled the right way, or spelled not even, it's spelled this way, Colonel. But like my dad was just like, I was trying to like call, and he's like, no, Colonel Mustard, just call him Colonel Mustard, or just Mustard. And I'm like, okay. We're going with Colonel Mustard then. And now since then, Colonel Mustard's been like my guy I go to every time. Do not make me pick Peacock. Do not make me go Miss White, or Mrs. White. Sorry, she got married. I will go Mustard every time. But the origins of this story are quite interesting, to say the least. It is actually a baseball myth. This is a baseball curse. And I'm quite a baseball fanatic myself. I am a Pittsburgh Pirates fan from back home. And when I got here to Japan, I was like, you know what? I'm going to be where do we live? We live here in Chiba. Okay, wow. Chiba Lotte Marines. Cool. That's going to be the team I'm going to support. That's literally how I picked it. But it's an apparent curse placed on the Japanese baseball team, not the Marines, but the Hanshin Tigers. After a 21-year losing streak, the Tigers in 1985 triumphed over the Swallows. I think for the championship, they finally took the pennant, and they were like, oh my goodness, there we go. We finally broke the losing streak. This is amazing. It's a magical win where the fans ended up throwing crazy fits of joy, and they went into hysteria. They were just going nuts.
They were ready. They were so excited.
so lit. And actually a group of fans that goes to the game quite regularly. They go to these games all the time. They're huge fans of the Tigers. They would dress up and like cosplay each player of the Tigers, one representing each player of the Tigers. And after they won, they're like, you know what? Here we go. We're going to jump into the river. We're going to jump into the Dotonbori Canal.
It's in Osaka, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's like nasty.
Oh, yeah.
It's like brown. It's sludgy. It's gross. It's not cute. And basically, like, let's jump in. And so, like, one by one, they're like calling out the names of the players, like, this guy. And they're like, yeet. And this guy. Wow. And then they're like, all right, now, Randy Bass, let's go.
Come on, Randy.
And then they're like, wait, Randy's from America. He's a white guy.
Nobody dressed up as him.
We don't got a white guy. We don't have a doppelganger for him. He was the star first baseman for them, and he did a really, really good job for them. He's actually heavily well known out here for being a really, really good baseball player. And they're like, we don't got a white guy in our group. So what they ended up doing is they ran to the nearest KFC they could find.
They went to the nearest white man available.
And they, outside the KFCs here, it's quite common to have a statue of Colonel Sanders out front. And after, like, apparently, like, fighting, like, fist fighting, like, people trying to, like, get Colonel Sanders out, they finally won the battle, they won the fight, were able to, like, take him away from this KFC. That was with heavy resistance. And they dragged him to the canal, and after a count of 3, hucked him into the river. And that's where the curse kind of starts to form.
It's like the Boston Tea Party. They're just throwing stuff over the edge.
Instead of tea bags, it was chicken.
There we go. Bok.
And ever since then, they believe the 18-year curse on the Hanshin Baseball Club began. Basically, some of the things that started happening after this is that in 1986, the year after, big hitter Masayuki Kakefu, he was playing in 663 games in a row. That's what an Ironman streak is. He had 663 games in a row he had played. He got hit by a pitch, ending that streak, which the fans were like, oh no. And then ace pitcher that same year, Chikafusa Ikeda, he ended up breaking his heel, which
Damn, that does not sound fun.
no,
Of all things to break, heels,
no,
anything on the foot.
way too close to the Achilles. Like if you
Nope,
want to make me
yeah.
shiver, severing an Achilles, that's gonna make me do it. Then 1987, the season was the worst winning record ever for the Tigers. Their record was 331, which if you guys don't know baseball terms, basically if you're winning like a 500, that means you've won like half your games. So these guys were like out of every 4 games, basically winning 1.
If that.
Every 4 games, maybe 2. And then Randy Bass, the guy who was meant to be represented by Colonel Sanders, was dismissed in the middle of a season, the 1988 season, for taking an extended leave to America. His kid was sick, so he stayed.
That's so sad.
He stayed home to take care of them, and they're like, you know what, you out, and so they dismissed him. And so basically, all these things were happening so close to each other that people were like, oh my goodness.
The curse.
This is a curse. So the TV series Night Scoop here in Japan, which is still going on, they tried to recover the statue in 98. And they basically were like, you know what? Until Colonel Sanders is rescued and cleansed of the sludge, Henshin has no hopes of winning the championship. And basically from that on, they were like, there's a curse. Obviously related to
Went
Colonel
viral.
Sanders. It just like blew up from there, and no one had any idea of what to do to fix it. Basically, they thought that maybe taking him out of the river and cleaning him up would help. It didn't. Later on, years later, they ended up finding more pieces and kind of trying to glue it back together. But when they tried to get it back to where it was at the KFC had been like picked up and left. Like it was already gone. Like the location didn't exist anymore. But finally, in 2003,
That's so long.
18 years later, they won the pennant and quote unquote broke the curse. I don't know about how many times they've won it since, but that was them thinking they broke the curse. And basically, up until that point, they were at the bottom of the leaderboard. So like they maybe a couple slots up, but they were like doing horribly the entire time through their seasons. So
Scooting by.
literally, there's not really any pop culture for this other than the fact that it was just in the news all the time. It was always on people's minds, baseball fans and everything, and just thinking and talking about it, and it just kind of happened. I don't think there's a movie about the curse of Colonel Sanders. But
There should be.
hey, who knows? Who's going to play him?
Oh my god, you know there's a Colonel Sanders dating simulator?
No.
Yeah, there is. Not that I played it, but I know that it exists.
Is it like Honey Pop?
Kind of. Like you go on the website and like they made like a whole thing and you can like it's like the very Japanese like dating games where like you choose your own adventure, like ask you a question, you like choose how to reply. Yeah, it's very that.
Okay.
Yeah, it was wild. I mean, I wouldn't know, but
That's what's up then.
Fun
There we
fact.
go. Pop culture.
there it is.
Maybe there's like a secret ending to the curse of Colonel Sanders. You have to like go to his like dominatrix basement or something.
Yeah, like end it for everybody.
He's got
But
a
like
chicken
what
cage
is
for you.
funny to me though is that like they're like, oh my god, we finally ended this 18-year curse. But like right before this happened, they had a 21-year losing streak, right?
Yeah, and then they won the pennant and then started losing again.
So like I just don't think they're that good.
Yeah.
I think the issue is that they're just not good.
That's why this is not really like. Do we think this is a real curse? No, it's just sometimes like I'm a Pirates fan through and through. The Pirates have the longest losing record out of any sport in the world, from what I've been told.
Oh my god.
So like, I know what it's like to lose.
Talk about a shipwreck.
But I could raise the Jolly Roger because no, don't do it because we didn't win.
No.
But I do love my Pirates, and I'm sure the
Hard.
fans of the Tigers love them too, and we support them whether they win or lose. But is there a curse? No, but there is plenty of baseball curses out there. We knew the one about the Cubs. For the longest time, they had a losing streak. They would never win the pennant until they ended up doing that way, like, how many years ago now? I don't know. I'm not a Cubs fan.
I'm not a sports fan. This is why we're coming in with the opposite knowledge. You know, I know about the Colonel Sanders dating game. You know about the baseball.
And yeah, there we go. That's basically all there is. It's not a real curse in my book, but a lot of Tigers fans did believe that there was something about that statue that was resting at the bottom of the river for so long that had to do with the negative energy and the losing that happened there at the stadium.
You know, just gotta respect the Colonel, I guess.
Respect.
Put some
Respect that
respect on his
chicken.
name. But yeah, now we're gonna move on to one of the more famous ones as well. These are a couple heavy hitters, I think, in like the pop, like you know what I mean, in like the being well known world.
Yeah.
And
This one's probably the most well known. I'd
yeah,
say.
this one's called Kuchisake Onna. And before anyone gets crazy, Kuchi means mouth in Japanese. I don't want y'all getting weird. Don't be weird. Don't make it weird. But
What's sake mean? Alcohol.
Oh my god, slit. I'm assuming because Ona is like the woman part. So slit. Anyways, it just translates to the slit mouth woman. Let's not get carried away here. But it is the story of a woman that happens to pass you while you're walking outside. You're just chilling, walking on your way to, wherever, catching your train, and she just passes you and she'll be crying and wearing a mask, like a face mask, like the ones that everyone has to wear now, which I feel like before this time was kind of like made it more mysterious, but now it's like everyone is wearing a mask.
This is actually really old. So it depends on like what time period this was set in. Sometimes it was actually like not a kabuki mask.
Oh, really? Because all of the ones I've heard, it's like
Well, they didn't have like surgical masks way back when this like what I think first originated. But maybe it wasn't a kabuki mask. I thought it was like some sort of like full mask, but now it's originated to being that surgical mask. It's pretty canonical that like for maybe the past 100 years, it's probably been that surgical mask. So that's the one we go with.
Right. So she'll be crying, wearing a mask of some sort, and the woman will notice you, stop you, and be like, "Am I pretty?" And then you have to answer, which is kind of awkward because, like, what if you're not? Like, that's kind of weird. And if you say no, you're like, nah. She kills you just right then and there, knife, scissors, some sharp, some killable.
It's like, it's us.
Yeah, literally. Very that. And if you say yes, then she takes off her mask, and you're like, okay, striptease. Just kidding. It's not. But once she removes her mask, she'll ask, how about now? And it's literally just like she's Cheshire smile cut, Black Dahlia situation, just like ear to ear slices on her mouth.
I think it's a weird, because this is a Japanese myth. The Edinburgh smile, I think is what they call it when you're cut from ear to ear.
Yeah, there's so many different names for it.
Yeah. It's weird. It's a real creepy.
Yeah, so corner of the mouth to the ear cut. Something like that. And if you say no after she asks you again, she stabs you to death from there. Or she could follow you home and then kills you at your house, which is kind of more disrespectful because, like, rude. Well, actually, no, it might be more respectful if she goes to your house. I
mean, I got, like, limited edition, like, Toy Story sheets on my bed. I would rather her not. But I mean, like, she just, like, leave you home, like, that's nice, good place to rest, but just me.
I
guess so. I guess you're right.
Then, like, the middle of the road, like, in front of, like, Yoshinoya or something.
Concrete.
Yeah. But if you say yes, that you think she's pretty, she'll like, oh my god, you like it? So then she'll slice your mouth. Or slice, the person's mouth to look like hers. So then you get the Cheshire smile, which is not it.
No.
And it said the only way to get out of the situation, because it seems like yes or no is not the correct answer, is to either show her indifference about her appearance or to throw hard candy / money, like a fucking tip. You're like, just tipping her, like,
She takes off her mask and she's like, how about now? And you're like, money!
Yeah.
Take
so the only appropriate reaction is stripper etiquette. There you go. And after you do this, and then you run, hopefully you'll be far enough away from her so that she doesn't, got you.
Don't get got.
Don't get got.
Gotta get
and
got.
Some other ways to escape are having O-type blood, which how the fuck?
I don't even know what blood type I am.
That's us.
I tried getting my blood taken for the only I hate needles. I did it only so I could figure out what my blood type was. Mm-hmm. And when I tried looking up what my blood was, because they give you a tracking number to figure out, they're like, oh yeah, just search in 2 weeks or whatever and your information will pop up. They're like, when I search it, they're like, oh, sorry, we lost your blood. Oh. I was like, what do you mean? No.
Lost your blood sounds like something a vampire would say.
Because it was like one of those one blood trucks that would be outside CP housing back at Disney. When I worked for Disney World as a college student.
That's some shady stuff.
It was creepy, but I was also like, that's the only reason why I wanted to know. So now I don't even know.
You did this in Florida. Just a random truck took your blood.
Florida. It parked outside college housing all the time, and you get free movie tickets if you did it.
That is so suspicious.
I didn't even go watch the Slipmouth Woman movie to see that. I didn't even do that.
Well, that sucks. Anyways, so if she just smells you out for having O-type blood, I guess, or also being beautiful, which I feel like I would get away with. Just kidding. Me sitting here as I look like a fucking troll right now, fresh out the shower in my fuzzy sweater. Anyways, or you can provide her a question in return and say, am I beautiful? So just throw it right back at her. And then you'll just confuse her and then you'll get time to run away.
But apparently if you're not beautiful, she'll just kill you.
Oh, if you're ugly?
If in her opinion. So you have to be beautiful. You have to be beautiful to do it.
Oh, dang.
So we have paychecks proving that we are. Like we like, not that that's not a conceited thing. I am flexing. I'm just being like,
Oh my god.
I don't look like someone kicked me in the mouth, but I'm not. No one looks at me and cries. Maybe they do, but like I'm not out there being a model doing some like beautiful stuff. Like I don't feel like I'm beautiful, but like
Our jobs are very topical, I would say. So yeah, I guess. But what are we gonna do? Pull out a pull out a paste and be like, "Hey, you can't kill me." You know what?
the mouse said so.
The mouse said. But full team. Mm-hmm. So all these things are gonna help you get away from the slit mouth woman.
Truth.
But yeah, tell us where she comes out in some pop culture, because she's quite famous, I would say. I mean, amongst so many renditions.
There's so much out there about her. So if you want to really like find more about her, you can I'd say just search it, because you'll find so much on her. But some of the things we have here are that she makes an appearance in the 1994 Studio Ghibli film Pompoko, and 2 years later she got her own short film by Teruyoshi Ishii, titled Kuchisake Onna. That's basically her name. She also was mentioned in the 1998 film The Ring again, which was directed. This one was directed by Hideo Nakata, because I believe there's a Japanese The Ring, and then there's like an English one that was made separately.
Right, the Japanese one is just, it hit different. It's just different. I am so scared of The Ring, but anyways,
that's why we are on DVDs now.
I do
or not even DVDs. We just stream everything now.
Yeah.
VHS is out the window. It's gone. And with Laserdisc, who dat?
Yeah.
Like, no one knows. Best known appearance would probably be, for Kuchisake Onna, would be the Koji Shiraishi 2007 film Carved, the Slit-Mouthed Woman. In the movie, she's not only killing her victims, but she also kidnaps them.
Can you kidnap a dead body? We need to see it. Like, is she kidnapping them and then killing them? I'm confused.
I believe that she takes them and then kills them. I believe this movie, if I'm not mistaken, is on YouTube.
Oh, okay, work.
It's something you can find on YouTube. And it's apparently, like, not bad. Actually pretty good for...
Yeah, well, it's the same guy. It's the same guy from the other horror movies that we've just referenced. This guy just be making movies out of everything.
True. It's just a little weird. Some of it's like, apparently, like, there's like a teacher in the beginning of it that's just kind of like rude, like sees bullying going on and kind of like joins the bullies and like kind of goes along with them and just is like bad. And then the mom is like pretty abusive. So it's a whole lot. But there's also a film that followed this movie as two sequels. There were two squeakles to this.
Two squeakles.
The 2008 Carved 2, The Scissor Massacre, and The Slit-Mouthed Woman 0, The Beginning.
These names are so corny. They're like Carved and Carved 2 and
hey, if you're going to do it, just do it.
Yeah. Gotta ramp it up on the corn factor there, Mm-hmm. But that is it for her. All of our notes here. But like we said, you could literally just Google The Slit-Mouthed Woman Japan and you will find a plethora of different sources and stories about her. But now we are going to move on to, I think, our last subject, yeah?
Yeah, this one was fun. This is probably the first one that I researched when I first got here. Not even for like this specifically, but I remember sitting in our break room and Nana came up to me and I was like, Nana, do you know about these stories? And she's like, what do you mean? And I was reading them to her and she's like, oh, I know about these. They are so scary. And I'm like, this is so silly. What do you mean? And she's like, no, they're so scary. Like we'd hear these as kids. So this next one is called Akamanto, or Aka the Red Coat, or
Aka the Red Coat.
I'm reading it on the paper.
Said Red the Red. Oh my god.
I'm reading on the paper. It says Akamanto, Aka the Red Coat, Aka the Red Cape.
Oh, I just realized Akamanto and AKA are like the same.
I was duped. I have been fooled.
My bilingual brain does not work the same way as anyone else.
It's also Aka, AKA is how is it spelled, and Aka means red. Apparently, it's also Ao coat. Blue coat was also another way of saying this, but Akamanto is probably the most popular out of the two of those.
Akamanto,
AKA the red coat. AKA the Red Cape.
Oh, God.
Basically, he's allegedly a handsome man wearing a mask, which is weird. How would you know he's handsome if he's wearing a mask?
They just said.
Maybe it's like V for Vendetta kind of vibes, or he's just
it's giving that.
Yeah. And then like he's wearing a long red cloak, and he'll go up into the woman's bathroom and find an occupied stall.
Just getting them while they're down.
When they're dropping their deuces. They're doing the dookie. And we'll ask the woman inside the stall, red or blue paper?
And I'm sitting there holding the white toilet paper like, what?
What do you mean? There's white paper about to be brown. What color are we talking about?
Oh my God.
And so basically, if you answer red, because you're given the option, he slices you up and covering you in your own blood, making you red.
Rude.
If you answer blue, what is said to happen is he strangles you until your face turns blue.
Oh, that's not any better.
No, you die either way.
Right.
You can also try to outsmart him. It doesn't really work. You can try to say yellow paper, which in that case, he drowns you in the toilet.
Because
yellow water. So there's not really a way of getting out of this. But the only way to really not die from this guy is apparently sometimes he will not kill you if you show indifference. If you say, no thanks, I'm good. Or just be like,
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It's just being like, nah, just don't show any preference. And he either will, one, walk away, or I've read in some cases, he'll just wait for you till you come out and kill you anyway.
Oh my God, that's so mean.
So it's just like, meh. Half of these stories are based off choice. There's no right answer. And the specific right answer that you do answer doesn't even guarantee that you live.
Right.
So what's the point in knowing just the odds, that the odds are better instead of 100%? It's just maybe some 75% chance that you'll die. Who knows? It's just, but Akamanto, super creepy guy. Why are you in the girl's bathroom? Why are you trying to offer paper to people? That's not cool.
Not cool, man. Not cool. But he is, again, like we said, one of the more famous stories. Mm-hmm. And he's got quite a repertoire of pop culture appearances. I'm going to start with my favorite one because this is also one of the things that I learned
Go for it.
On my own when I moved here to Japan. So when I moved here and I started to learn Japanese, which I'm not good at still, I started to learn tongue twisters to get my pronunciation, to get my flow better, right? As one does. I don't know. I was also bored of learning how to say apple and stuff. So I was looking up the tongue twisters, and there's one that reminds me of this story, and I'm pretty sure it's they're related because it's so fun. Okay, so we're obviously talking about red paper, blue paper, and yellow paper. And in Japanese, there's a tongue twister, and it's akamakigami, aomakigami, kimakigami. And you have to say that 3 times fast because makigami means paper, construction paper.
How interesting.
Yeah, and so it's akamakigami, aomakigami, kimakigami, aomakigami. Oh, fuck, I just said blue. But you get the gist. Yeah. So you just had to say rise paper, blue paper, yellow paper over it, just to kind of get it. But it's such a tongue twister. It's one of the harder ones that I know. So if you guys want to try to say that while you're listening to this, I dare you. I dare you to try it. Do it.
Me?
Yeah.
Akigami, aogami. What's the other one?
Akamakigami.
What's the yellow though? I don't know yellow.
Kimakigami.
Ki?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Ki.
Makigami.
Makigami. Mm-hmm. So.
Akamakigami.
Akamakigami, aogami, akagami. It's because it's akagami, aogami. I think
you're
here,
reading it.
I'm reading something else that's very close to that. So it's akamakagami, akagami. I can't even get the words right, so I don't think I could even try to say it fast.
Oh my God, yeah. But that's one of my favorites.
And I find Japanese pronunciation rather easy.
Right.
But it's still very difficult. That's very difficult
it's hard to get to get all those different syllables out at the same time. Akamakigami, aomakigami, kimakigami. I have to take a breath between everyone because it's wild.
Next time you work with someone who's Japanese speaking, ask them to do Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers.
I don't even know that one.
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers.
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers?
Yeah, you're trying to say that 3 times fast. Or,
I never I learned
Sally
them growing up.
sells seashells by the seashore.
Sally sells seashells by the seashore.
Hearing them try to say those, it's so funny.
It's so wild. Yeah, I've tried to teach them different ones. I think the one in Spanish, there's a mountain called Barangari Kutirimicuaro, and it's just one word.
Just trying to say a hard word.
Yeah, and it's just one word. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it all the way correctly, but my Spanish speakers will know if y'all listening. Anyways, let's move on. We got a lot to cover still.
Yep.
But anyways, akagami, aogami, which is I think a play on the word, or like, yeah, play on the words that we just said. It's kind of like the shortened version of them, because akagami and aogami is like the paper. And it appears as the monster of the week in the second episode of the anime series Ghost Stories, which is super famous. A lot of like legends and myths and stuff that we will cover in the future are covered in Ghost Stories. It's a really great anime. If you guys have not been,
I haven't watched it. I have watched a lot of
I've only
anime,
seen a
not
few
that
episodes, yeah, but it's quite cool. And in the 2003 video game Castlevania, Aria of Sorrow, isn't Castlevania also like an anime?
Castlevania was, Netflix took it and made an anime. It's very, very good, very gory, but if you guys like it, it's really, really cool, based off the video game series.
Yeah, and there's like an enemy in it called Killer Mantle, and he's apparently based on this legend, the Akamanto. And in Scream Queens, if you guys watch Scream Queens, it's so bad. I only watched like one episode of it, and I was like, this is the worst thing I have ever laid eyes on. But you know what? Miley, our producer, is saying that it's great. Whatever. you are allowed to feel how you feel.
I maybe heard of the name of Scream Queens twice in my life, so I've got no idea.
But yeah, apparently Niecy Nash's character, Denise Hemphill? Anyways, I don't know. I didn't watch all of it. Explains the legend of the Red Cloak to the Kappa girls during like a fireside storytelling session, which is kind of random that she would just like bring this up. But it was said, it was scripted. And yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, and a 2019 video game as well called World of Horror, developed by Panstaz. The game makes a reference to many horror creatures from a wide variety of sources, from Japanese mythology all the way to Lovecraftian mythos. They've just got creatures left and right. One of the quest lines that you go down involves dealing with a toilet ghost that gives you colored paper and kills you on differing manners based on your choice. But you can survive, just like we said, if you just show indifference. So that's pretty cool. It's just a straight rip from the
actual lore.
itself.
It doesn't try to play with it at all.
Yeah, which is really cool. I think that it does that. And I would actually want to play World of Horror just to see like what kind of stuff you could face, but I haven't played that. And also in 2019, a video game just straight up called Akamanto was published and developed by Chilla's Art, and it is an indie game, which I think you brought up.
Yeah, I was watching it. I actually watched a streamer, YouTuber guy. I think his name is Cory Kenshin, which is actually funny because he spells his name the same way I do, which is the correct way. But I believe that's his name. I just started watching him, and he actually played this, and it's pretty spoopy. I would not want to play it because it just stressed me out.
Right. I think it's also different for us because we're in Japan, and I feel like we're more...
we're related. We're adjacent to it.
Well, yeah, we're in it. So it'd be a little crazy. But if any of this is sounding familiar, you guys have probably all watched or heard of the 2021 worldwide phenomenon called Squid Game, this South Korean drama where, you know, they got all recruited. And if you're thinking that this sounds a little familiar to the story, you are right. Mm-hmm. So in the beginning, the really, really hot guy, I don't know, I forgot his name.
The guy with the briefcase?
Yeah, the guy with the briefcase. He ends up playing like this, he's like red or blue to play like that, like dakji, I think it's pronounced. Could totally be butchering this. My Korean is not good at all. Dakji. The little game where like you throw the paper on the ground and he like flips it for cash. But it's very, you know, reminiscent of this Akamanto character. And the director confirmed that in an interview that this choice that the player had was based on the Akamanto legend, because no matter what color paper that the main character picked, it was going to end in the invitation to the Squid Game anyway. So
cool.
It was really cool that this kind of came full circle into like one of the biggest trends currently.
Full crop circle.
Crop circle time. Let's go. But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. I love finding the pop culture references like these. Like, this is the reason why.
Yeah, and so relevant one, like so recent ones too.
Yeah.
So cool.
So fucking cool. Yeah, but that's all we have for you guys. We're leaving you at the Akamanto, the Legend of the Red Cloak.
Yeah, which is a lot. And if you guys want to hear more of them, like there's plenty of Japanese
There's so
ones.
many. We had to cut it down to like these few that we covered today.
Yeah, we can go over more later on, but just let us know. Like to message, like tweet at us and let us know. Do the things.
Mm-hmm. And because these are very close to home, I'm sure that later on we'll probably be seeing some of them, like the doll or like something else in our lives here in Japan.
I should do Akamanto for Halloween.
Oh, that would be cool. You just walk around like red or blue.
He wanted red or blue.
Yeah.
I did not red or blue drink, and they're like red, and I drink.
Oh my god, do you think that in The Matrix?
The red or blue pill?
Because,
the choice of the red or blue pill? Ew.
Oh my god, wait, breakthrough. I'm just now
Morpheus as Akamanto.
Yes! Wait, that's kind of cool. We should.
Oh,
I
and the
need
new
to look that up.
the new movie's coming out soon.
Yes.
I love The
Okay.
Matrix.
Wow. We need to deep dive on that because I need to know if this is like kind of related. Because I mean, obviously, like red and blue is kind of like a theme everywhere, but that it's like a choice. It's like a thing because no matter what they choose, it was like the illusion of choice. I guess. Yeah. Oh my god. Ooh, spooky.
Neato
Love that.
burrito.
But yeah, that has been our episode. It's been a good time. But urban legends are a part of, every single culture that we come across, whether it be our home cultures or the cultures that we have been transplanted to. But learning of these chilling stories have recently lurked in the corner of all of our thoughts during our time living here in Japan. And I know that we're always hoping, while we're stuck waiting for that last train, well past midnight, that we don't come face to face with any of these creatures.
Tick, tick, tick. I've been transplanted here.
Yeah.
I'm like a lung.
Yeah. I was saying we're like an appendix.
You don't want to get it. Like, can you get that as a transplant?
No, but like they don't need an appendix. That's what I'm saying.
If we've been removed.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Thrown into
Just thrown in
the
here.
bin of Japan.
Yes, but this has been Crop Circle's podcast. Tell them where to find us.
You can find Ash over at Ash Cassie. You can find me over at CFoul22. And you can find Miley over at Miley.Campagna.
And we are also on Instagram and Twitter at Crop Circles Pod, so you can follow the podcast on all of our journeys. We will post some photos and some relevant things when this episode drops, so you can see kind of what we're talking about, get a visual, right? And we'll also have a comment section open there, so you guys can tell us literally whatever you want. But that has been this week's episode, and I hope you guys don't get too spooked. But yeah, we'll see you guys next time.